Hello, everyone. As always, I pray that you are having a glorious day. After all, this is the day that the Lord has made, and we should rejoice and be glad therein. And as always, thank you for giving me a few moments of your time. I always want to be a great steward of it. Let's jump into it. This is another episode of what I'm referring to as Fit Momentum. It is a part of what I plan on being my Substack and YouTube channel and etc. And I pray that you would log on to all of those, that you would follow us, and that you would like and subscribe to all of those channels as they appear on the various social media pages and material that we put out. Today, we're going to start with dealing with probably a third of a lesson that I had the privilege of doing at a local corporation here in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And they asked me to come in and deal with the theme that they had chosen, and that was the mindset of a leader, the mindset of a leader. It was an honor for me to share. And I spent a whole lot of time in preparing, and it was received in a very gracious and powerful way, and I thank God for it. But I thought I would take the time to present it to you as we begin to deal with some things that God has called each of us to do, to position us to do for such a time as this. So let's jump in. It feels like I'm rambling, so let me jump into it because I want to make sure that I give you be a good steward of your time. Let me begin with this. In understanding the mindset of a leader, allow me some time to set up a context and subsequently a construct for that. Where are we in this world when it comes to leadership? I'm reminded of a story that I heard some time ago concerning President Abraham Lincoln, and it was during the Civil War. And he had a habit in D.C. of going to one of the churches there. I think it was First Presbyterian Church there in D.C., and he would sit in and sneak into the back and sit and listen to the sermon, he and his aide. And on this particular occasion, he snuck in and sat in the back and listened to the sermon that was being preached. And when the service ended, both he and his aide left through a side door there, and his aide began to question him about whether or not he enjoyed the sermon. He asked him, "Mr. President, did you enjoy the sermon?" And he said it was a well thought out sermon. And he said, "Mr. President, did you enjoy the sermon?" He said it was a well thought out and passionately delivered sermon. "Mr. President, did you enjoy the sermon?" The president replied by saying no, because it did not ask of us anything great. Good gracious life. That story always hits me. It did not ask of us anything great. And I think when you look at the data and what people are thinking, what people are feeling, if you would, about this era of leadership that we're in, I think it's safe to say that they are feeling the same way that President Abraham Lincoln felt about the sermon, that leadership is not asking them, us, you, I, anything great. Let's jump into the data to prove it. So, many Americans, according to the data, many Americans don't see leaders that inspire them, and that they want to emulate rather. Many Americans don't see leaders they aspire to emulate. 77% of survey respondents don't see any public leader they admire or would want to be like, along with most who say the same about leaders in education, 74%, healthcare, 69%, and in business, 61%. Now, just sit in that for a moment. Just sit in that data for a moment. 77% of those surveyed said that they don't see any public leaders they admire or would want to be like, along with most who say the same about leaders in education, 74%, and healthcare, 69%, and in business, 61%. That, to me, says that people in general, if you would, are seeing leadership as not asking of them anything great. Let's continue. Business leaders are seen as out of touch with public values. 82% of adults believe that the values held by business leaders, watch this, don't align, do not align with those of everyday Americans. Additionally, 72% of adults agree that the U.S. is experiencing a business leadership crisis. Does it sound like people believe that leaders are asking of them anything great? And you may be just that, a leader. And you and I have to ask ourselves, are we asking of people? Are we requiring of them, if you would, anything great? Or are we settling for just scaring the hell out of folks and dividing people from the haves and the have-not, and finding all of these things rather than doing the hard work of casting vision and stewarding vision so that people can have better and do better for the glory of God? Now, this is important. Let me give you one more so I can prove my case. What they believe in, people believe, is this. Watch this. Self-interest and distrust characterize public perceptions of leadership. 85% of Americans believe government officials and community leaders prioritize their own power and influence over public interest. I'm going to just leave that there for a minute. Think about that. 85% believe that government officials and community leaders prioritize their own power and influence over public interest. That, ladies and gentlemen, sounds like to me that people don't believe that leadership is asking of them anything great. So, what do we need to do? Let's jump in this and just and define, if you would. Let me give you a working definition for leadership for this course. Number one, true leadership isn't a title, and I know you know that, or a single skill you possess. It is a structure you build. I need you to own that. It is a structure you build layer by layer, if you would, brick by brick. It starts with your core identity, who you believe you are. That identity sets your personal standards. Those standards, practiced daily, become your automatic habits. Your real strengths as a leader is proven not in calm times, but under pressure, when those habits hold firm. Now just parking that for a minute. I know that's a lot. I want to go back over them, so to make sure that it starts with your core identity, who you believe you are. That identity then sets your personal standards. Those standards practiced daily, not just on Sunday, not just on Friday when it's paycheck, but daily, become your automatic habits. Your real strength, therefore, if you would, has as a leader is proven not in calm times, but under pressure, when those habits hold firm. Finally, mastery is shown by your agility, shifting your approach to fit the challenge at hand. When these layers are unified, you stop just managing and start truly leading, becoming, watch this, the steady anchor your team needs. There it is. There it is right there. There it is. That is what you and I are called to be and to do. That is what it means to be a leader. I just feel like I need to say it again. True leadership isn't a title or a single skill you possess. It is a structure you build layer by layer. It starts with your core identity, who you believe you are. That identity then sets your personal standards. Those standards practiced daily become your automatic habits. Your real strength, therefore, as a leader, is proven not in calm times, but under pressure, when those habits hold firm. Finally, mastery is shown by your agility, shifting your approach to fit the challenge at hand. When these layers are unified, you stop just managing and start truly leading, becoming, watch this, the steady anchor that your team needs. I know it's a lot, but let me break it down for you because it's important. But I want to break it down, and by helping you and I understand a concept that I ran across some time ago that is a part of the Japanese culture. About 700 years ago, the Japanese had this framework they call Gedo, and in this framework, they articulated an outline how a student becomes a master in any art. This is very important. It describes three phases of how a student becomes a master in any art form. Number one, that student has to make a deep mental commitment to a long, demanding path. Say it with me. I must make a deep mental commitment to a long, demanding path. Number two, I'm fully dedicating myself to mimicking an existing master through heart-to-heart transmission. In other words, I got to find someone that is willing to pour into me so that I can get that heart-to-heart transfer. And then finally, stage three or phase three of this is expressing my own authentic style. Now, it is important that we understand this. That it's important that we understand this concept. Leadership just doesn't happen. It's just not created out of a vacuum. And those who feel that they are here for a reason must understand these three phases, if you would. Number one, make a deep mental commitment to a long, demanding path. You're not a kid in the back of the car answering your parents, are we there yet? It is a commitment to the long, demanding path. Number two, fully dedicating oneself to mimicking, watch this, an existing master through heart-to-heart transmission. And finally, expressing your authentic style. And once you and I do that, I believe that this framework helps us to become the leaders that will inspire people, and it calls us to ask of them something great. Let's break it down one by one. Making a deep mental commitment to a long demanding path. How do you get there? How do you do this? By defining purpose. Though your purpose is your compass. Your purpose is the compass. Here's a statement that you need to write down. True leadership begins with a definitive why, a North Star that guides decision, inspires action, and provides meaning beyond personal ambition. It is the unwavering answer to the question, to what end do I serve? Good gracious of life. To what end do I serve? The true leadership begins with, and we'll put it up here again, true leadership begins with a definitive why, a true north, ladies and gentlemen, that guides your decision, inspires your actions, provides meaning beyond personal ambition. It is the unwavering answer to the question, to what end do I serve? You will never become the leader that God wants you to be, the mindset that it takes, if you don't begin with that compass, that true north, that purpose, the reason why you and I are here. But connected to that is the second principle, and that is passion. Passion is the fuel. Listen here. Passion is the catalytic energy that sustains effort when logic alone failed. You ever had yourself in a situation that did not make sense? And everybody was expecting you to be over in a corner somewhere in a fetal position, giving up. And yet, even though that thought may have coursed its way through your emotional well-being, you refuse to accept that diagnosis. Why? And you woke up with your mind still stayed on Jesus. You woke up with your hands still on the plow. Why? Because passion was the catalytic engine that sustained the effort when logic failed. It didn't make no sense that you would continue on. Everybody thought you would give up. I'm not talking about mere emotions here. I'm talking about deep, enduring commitment to the purpose and to the work that makes the labor meaningful and infectious to others. And people look at you and they may look back and wonder how you got over, but you know you don't have to look back and wonder how you got over. There was a purpose and a passion that failed you not. And that is the second reason how you and I, means by how you and I can have this leadership mindset. But I would be remiss if I didn't give you the third one that I think is vitally important too, and that is preparation, the foundation. Leadership is a rigorous, continuous preparation of mind, skill, and character, which builds the credibility and confidence required to navigate uncertainty and seize opportunity. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to leave it up here for you in case you're writing it down. Listen. Leadership is a rigorous, continuous preparation of mind, skill, and character, which builds the credibility and confidence required to navigate what? Uncertainty and to seize opportunity. Your ability, my ability to continuously grow, help me out somebody, to continuously ascribe to the higher good, to continuously challenge ourselves, to perpetually ask God and to stand in that mirror and ask God to show me the things that should not be and help me to get them out of me so that I could be all that you designed and has called me to be, so that I could do all that you've called me to do. Therein lies preparation, and some people get to a level and they think they don't have any more room to grow, and they become stale and dry and dusty, repeating the same old principle, the same old habit, doing the same old way, because they have lost their capacity to prepare themselves for what God has next for them. Therein, my brothers and sisters, in a short period of time, I have just given you what I believe is three incredible principles when it comes to understanding the mindset of a leader. And those principles are hinging on the definition that you and I have when it comes to that. It's not a single skill that you possess. It is something that you build layer by layer, and it starts with your core identity, who you believe you are. That identity sets your personal standards. Those standards practiced daily become your automatic habit, and therefore, as a result, your real strength as a leader is proven not in calm times, but under pressure when these habits hold firm. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, mastery is shown by your agility, shifting your approach to fit the challenge at hand. When these layers are unified, you stop just managing and start truly leading, becoming a steady anchor that your team needs me to be. And that end lies. Now, I want you to understand, I need you to understand this, because this concept is very important. We got a couple more minutes. This Japanese concept has been a blessing to me. It begins by making that deep mental commitment to a long, demanding path. The road ain't easy, ladies and gentlemen. This path is not easy. It ain't going to happen overnight. But you and I must make this mental commitment to this long, demanding path. And secondly, fully dedicating oneself to mimicking an existing master through heart-to-heart transmission. And I always think about this. The film Odyssey is coming up. Christopher Nolan is directing it. It'll be out this summer. I think it's this month. And I remember when my children was in school, and Dr. Underwood had them to read the Odyssey and Homer's other book, the Iliad. And I purchased a book and there's like 12 CDs, I think it was, because we was going on a trip and I wanted them to listen to it, and we listened to it as a family as we drove to Florida on the unabridged version, audio version. And one of the things that struck me is that when Odysseus came back, when Odysseus left, he left his son in the hands of his slave. And when he returned back after the Trojan War, all those years, his son was a grown man, and was an outstanding man, and he owed all of that to the slave he left his son in the care of. And you know what the name of that slave was? Mentor. And when you and I look at this concept here, when it says mimicking an existing master, heart-to-heart transformation, that's what it is calling for. You must find someone that'll pour into. You must find someone that will disciple. You must find someone that will mentor you. And only then can you ever step into your authentic style as a leader. Listen, this is the first part of this whole series that I'm going to share some more as the weeks and days come. I hope that it has been a blessing to you. Hey, continue to log in and like and subscribe on all of my channels, my Facebook channel, my YouTube channel, as well as the Substack channel, where I do a whole lot of writing. I just started that, and I'm going to plan on doing additional writing on there, so you'll be able to get additional information. Thank you for giving me a few moments of your time. I don't want these to last too long. I want to give you what God has given me to give you, and be a good steward of your time. As always, thank you. May God bless you. May God keep you. Peace.